Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something truly mind-bending. We're unpacking a fascinating social experiment that is cleverly disguised as a surreal sci-fi narrative. It's honestly a masterclass in behavioral science and community organization, and man, I am so excited to guide you through this one. I mean, just look at this. At first glance, a glowing cat sitting against this majestic, futuristic cyberpunk backdrop. It seems like pure science fiction, right? Like a wild premise designed just to grab your attention. And, well, it definitely does that. But as you'll see, this is actually just the visual entry point into a highly structured, real-world community movement. So here's our roadmap for today. 1. The City of Gold. 2. Why pick Day 27? 3. The August 26 Catalyst. 4. The real target, 15 years. And finally, 5. A very useful lie. All right, let's jump straight into part 1, the City of Gold. The sources introduce us to what they call Neo-Ayutthaya. Think of it as this conceptual, elevated version of Bangkok. The whole premise centers on 20 million minds uniting in a singular intention. And the big sci-fi hook here, it's that this massive collective consciousness, literally humans and street cats working together, can telepathically control the weather and summon rain to cure droughts. Crazy, right? It's a massive, spectacular idea. Which brings us to part 2. Why pick Day 27?
This is really the crux of the whole thing. Out of all the days in the month to initiate this massive societal synchronization, why did the project's architect, Joseph, build his entire system around the 27th? Now, the source material reveals that Joseph didn't actually broadcast the exact origin of this number to the public at first. Instead, he used it as an anchor. He needed to turn this wild, abstract concept into a reliable monthly target that the entire community could just rally around. Because think about it, rather than just hoping for random, unpredictable weather events or, sporadic acts of charity, Joseph designed the 27th to be a highly predictable, recurring monthly checkpoint. The absolute genius here is the predictability. It gives the whole country a specific date they can feel, a date they can anticipate, and most importantly, prepare to act upon month after month without fail. So by creating this specific procedural loop, Joseph completely transformed a lofty philosophical idea into digestible, repeatable mechanics. Every single month, citizens wait for the 27th, they unite with the cats, they ask for rain, and then they observe the results. This isn't just a fun story, guys. It is a literal habit-building machine disguised as a sci-fi experiment.
Okay, moving on to part 3,
the August 26th Catalyst.
So where did that specific date actually come from? According to the sources, the loss of his friend Tay's cat on August 26th served as the true emotional catalyst for this entire timeline. The absolute grief of losing a vulnerable street animal on the 26th is exactly why Joseph established the 27th, the very next day, as the beginning of a monthly covenant of care. He took a deeply personal moment of tragedy and spun it into a recurring cycle of protection. This heartbreaking, real-world event anchored Joseph's whole project in something deeply tangible. The 27th isn't really just about calling for rain. The explicit target is 0 casualties. The 27th is a day dedicated to ensuring no more cats pass away from neglect. It turns a personal loss into a really powerful community shield. Let's look at part 4. The real target, 15 years. 15 to 20. That is the number that actually matters here. The true metric of success for Joseph isn't altering the climate or, scientifically proving telepathy. It's about creating a world where every single street cat lives a happy, healthy life spanning 15 to 20 years. And this is exactly where the sci-fi elements hit the pavement. The grand illusion of weather control brilliantly masks the intimate, practical reality of what's actually happening on the 27th. Individuals are literally stepping outside, they're donating 1,000 baht, and they are actively feeding local strays. They are doing the real, unglamorous work of community care, all motivated by this shared, magical narrative. Providing safe shelter and consistent nourishment is the real-world action that fulfills the covenant every 27th. Just seeing these cats safely sheltered from the downpour proves the true success of the program. The safety condition is met. The cats are safe. And that's what it's all about. Which brings us to our final section, part 5, a very useful lie.
Joseph built this entire movement on a really fascinating behavioral science concept that he actually calls useful lies and falsifiable skies. Basically, it's the idea of using a seemingly impossible, even unscientific premise to drive undeniably positive real-world behavior. On one hand, you've got this unproven magical premise of 20 million minds connecting to the clouds. But on the other hand, look at the tangible results. While the telepathic cloud connection might be a lie in a strict scientific sense, the actual result, a community working together to sweep drains, clear trash, and care for vulnerable animals, is very, very real. The fiction literally facilitates the fact. So let's just look at the balance sheet for this experiment. Unproven. Cats and humans control the rain. Sure. But look at what is proven. Citizens predictably feed strays on the 27th. There are increased donations for animal welfare. Communities are actively cleaning up street drainage to prepare for the rain. There's a heightened awareness of climate and empathy. I mean, even if the core hypothesis completely fails scientific scrutiny, the experiment is an absolute triumph because it successfully organizes a community into recurring, monthly habits of empathy and environmental stewardship. Ultimately, the whole sci-fi spectacle of Neo-Ayutia is just this beautiful Trojan horse. It delivers a peaceful, grounded reality where a street cat can just sleep safely in the afternoon sun, well-fed and totally cared for. The vision works because it actually changes human behavior. And that leaves us with a really powerful thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer today. If a wild narrative about weather-controlling cats can unite a city in empathy, establishing a permanent day of care every single 27th a month, well, what creative stories or useful lies could be used to solve the very real problems in your own neighborhood? Think about that for a bit. Thanks so much for joining me today, and hey, keep looking for the magic hiding in the method.